Hello, everyone. Now, if you've been living under a rock, you may not have heard of ChatGPT. But even if you have, it's worth it to go through the very basics of it and talk about how ChatGPT fits overall into OpenAI's models. Okay, so in this module, we'll be going through a few cool features of ChatGPT, which hopefully everyone is familiar with, but just to get everyone on the same bearing, we'll go through that. But then we'll take a step back and go through OpenAI, how the company works, what the different modules are. When we go through the different models, we'll talk about their advantages and disadvantages, and we'll talk about some key concepts like making good prompts, what tokens are, how temperature works, and how you can actually integrate ChatGPT into your applications. So this module will simply be a quick crash course on ChatGPT and OpenAI overall from the most basic conceptual theory point of view. Okay? Perfect. Now, I'm on openai.com right now. What I'm going to do is you should see a link at the very top that allows you to try ChatGPT. Again, if you've been living under a rock, you should have already done this, but if you haven't, that's perfectly fine. Over here, we have basically OpenAI's production version of ChatGPT module, which we will see comprises of 4 separate modules as well. But I just want to take the time in this video to go through the different variety of tasks that you can get ChatGPT to do for you. And trust me, it is a large variety. First of all, it can answer very simple factual questions in any way you want. For example, we can ask ChatGPT over here, what's the difference between a Pokemon and a Digimon? Let me zoom in over here as well so people can see a bit more. It goes through and it types out exactly what the differences are. It also kind of gives a bit of context as well in terms of what are the same and so on and so forth. So this is giving us basically a very good traditional answer. However, we can go beyond that and it can actually understand intent as well. So for example, we can say a very similar thing, what's the difference between a Pokemon and a Digimon, but we can put conditions on it. So we can say in 20 words or less, for example. Perfect. Or we can say, what's the difference between a Pokemon and a Digimon in a way that you would explain to an 80-year-old grandpa. And it will actually modify the text based on that instruction. So it's not just simply answering a question, but it's also understanding the intent and tone and crafting it in the response. Now, in terms of terminology, what we provide here is the prompt. What OpenAI gives us back is the response. So prompt response. Now, the one thing that OpenAI really excels at and ChatGPT really excels at is being very creative. For example, we can simply ask ChatGPT to provide us a marketing jingle for a chocolate company called Minos that combines chocolates with oranges, and it does a fairly good job. It's a jingle. It, actually kind of rhymes a little bit and seems like a song. That's what a jingle is. Again, we can make this more specific and say over here that combines chocolates with oranges. We can say something like the jingle must use alliteration. Hopefully that's how you spell it. And now we'll try its best to actually alliterate, which is they're doing over here. Minos, mouth watering morsels, marvelous with Mandarin, Minos. Perfect. Look at that, right? We can even be even more, creative as well. And I'm telling you guys, it's a lot of fun to kind of create an account with ChatGPT and just see all the things you can do with it. But now let's move to business reasons for using ChatGPT. A lot of people in their day-to-day write emails. I myself hate writing emails. Now, let's say if I'm a fitness company and I need to write an email to someone who recently canceled their membership, and I want to give them an offer for them to come back. Well, I can ask ChatGPT to do that very simply. Write a polite email to someone who have recently canceled their fitness membership to resubscribe to the plan and they will receive $10 off their membership. And look at that, it even provides you the subject line because it knows that you're writing an email, so that it knows you need a subject line, which again is very cool. We can also do some mix of business and creative exercises. So for example, let's say if you're a movie reviewer or someone who summarizes the plot of a movie, but you want to kind of have a bit of fun with it. So first, for example, let's write explain the plot of Titanic. And we'll basically, create the actual plot of it. But what if instead we want to do explain the plot of Titanic, but we'll add a condition to it. We'll say if you were a pirate. And what I will also do is I'll make sure I specify Titanic, the movie. And look at that. It will actually, describe the plot of Titanic as if it was a pirate. And it actually makes sense, right? But alas, the sea's a cruel mistress and the ship met its fate on the maiden voyage. Blah, 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 blah. I think that's very cool. Okay, let's go back to being more practical now. Let's say if you need to write a marketing article and you work for a smart meter company and you want to create a resource that people can use to lower their heating bills in their house. But then you also want to promote your own product in as well. So let's go ahead and type in that as a prompt. Create a marketing article that highlights the 4 ways to lower your heating bills in your house, and then promote a product called Smart Meter that lowers the heating costs. It'll actually write the article for you. It'll write it in, 1, 2, 3, 4. It'll do all of that kind of stuff for you. And then again, you can post this on a website and create copy for your startup called Smart Meter. So there's lots of different things you can do. Another reason why I think another good way to use ChatGPT is, for example, for teachers to create lesson plans. So we can go over here and type in, write a lesson plan to teach grade 2 students on the solar system. And I'll let this finish first because it actually mentioned my startup called Smart Meter, right? So it kind of does that for you. Let's go over here and click write a lesson plan to teach grade 2 students on the solar system. And boom, it does that for you, which is very cool. It gives you the objectives, the materials, the activities, the introduction, everything like that for teachers. Again, so powerful that it does that automatically. The last thing that I want to mention here is you can also do translation services. Now, I'm not really going to highlight this much because there's so many different translation services already out there, but you can ask ChatGPT to translate a sentence into French, Spanish, or Italian, and it basically does that for you. But honestly, that's not that crazy. Like there's a lot of Spanish, French, Italian services that currently already exist, but just know that it's available with ChatGPT as well. Okay, so you've probably played with this a lot now, but what exactly is ChatGPT? How do the models work? What is OpenAI? What are the different models? How does image generation fit into this? How can you use the API? Well, we'll explain that in this module, starting with the next video, where we'll actually go through an introduction of OpenAI, the company. Awesome.